Chalmers, who was the PI for Spirit and Opportunity, those rovers. I was interviewing him. Kind of hard to imagine what it must feel like to have spent 10, 20 years working on a... It's a horrible place. It's drier than the driest desert on Earth. There's hardly any atmosphere to speak of. There is a thin one, but you certainly couldn't breathe it. And the place is dusty. The surface is made of sort of red, rusty sand, you could think of it as. And there are winds in that thin atmosphere that can whip up the dust, and it gets everywhere. We've seen from the robots that we sent there that dust is a real problem. So I'm not sure I'd recommend it for the unprepared visitor, but if you do go there, it's a beautiful place.
Is because the rate of sedimentation is pretty rapid. These things just get
Somewhat you introduced this by describing
in these siliceous laminae, but of a very different character from any of this.
Around me in the background there are lots of green plants right now. You wouldn't see any of that. All you would see is rocks and sand. It is a very dry place, like for example the Atacama on Earth. And it's even more dry because of the thin atmosphere. And it's cold. At night temperatures fall to -30 or even -50 degrees C depending on the season. And during the day, you might get up to 10, maybe 20 if you're really lucky on a lovely summer day. But it's cold, it's dry, and you don't have an atmosphere to breathe.
Spacecraft to internal power. Engine start. Ignition. Liftoff.
The spacecraft is flying toward Mars, about to pass within 6,000 miles of its surface, and then out into space. One pass.
The pictures and data recorded by Mariner 4 revealed Mars to be a cold, barren planet. The atmosphere contains little or no oxygen and appears to be composed largely of carbon dioxide.
When we flew past Mars with the Mariner 4 spacecraft in 1964, it looked just barren, dry, some impact craters, because we didn't have the resolution to look at all the details. And then with Mariner 9, we already saw there might be something like streambeds going on the surface, but it's only since the Spirit and Opportunity rovers that we understand the geology and the rocks of Mars a lot better. So we know that these rocks contain elements such as iron, calcium, and magnesium, which are really important to make an environment.
Campuses. The one I was at, NASA Ames, had tunnels, which is where they we can assume that that Mars once had a thicker atmosphere. And we can see evidence, obviously, geological evidence on the surface of Mars that there was water flow. So we can at least imagine that Mars once had water on it. And actually, if we have evidence of liquid water underground, then we know there was water once on the surface of Mars, or there is water on Mars.
The question is, given that all the ingredients existed, did life get started? We know that it did on Earth. Finding out whether it did on Mars is the next big question.
Make human exploration of Mars happen are within our grasp. In our lifetime, we actually can see humans land and work on Mars. A major step in this direction of planning.
If we find life on Mars, oh, what's the decision we're going to make? Do we go there because we want to protect it? You know, Earth and protecting Earth is really important to humans, as it should be. But there's going to be a big decision coming up with some of these. China's looking for life, India will be looking for life, NASA is definitely looking for life, and ESA is going to be looking for life. That's a lot of countries looking for life. And if we do find life there, we're going to have to ask ourselves those big questions.
And we want to go to a variety of scientifically exciting locations. Do it in ways that humans and only humans can do. And so our orbital assets are critical to be able to determine and look for those right landing